No, you're stepping outside. Come here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Please do not. Stop. Stop.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back now. Turn around. Stop.
Put your hands behind your back. You're gonna get tased.
On October 5th, police were called to a gas station after a customer assaulted a staff member. Upon confrontation, she refuses to cooperate and becomes combative with officers, turning the situation into a forceful arrest.
All right, well, we're not going to be playing these games. Right now I'm investigating. Time out. You came at me hot.
Walk up on me.
You came up.
Don't walk up on me. You got your body cam on?
Yes, it is on.
Okay, don't play with me.
I'm asking questions. You're yelling. All right?
I said I don't want to talk to you.
Doesn't matter.
I don't have to.
You told me you were involved. All right? I am involved. I'm investigating a battery.
What's a battery? Battery in what?
If you're not involved, then start walking away before I lock you up. You want handcuffs on you? No, you're stepping outside. Come here.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Get back.
Don't touch me.
Put your hands behind your back.
Put my hands behind your back.
Get back.
Calm down. Don't touch me. Calm down. Look, you need to rough. All right. We're too rough. Stop. Stop.
Put your hands behind your back.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. Some of the units now. Some of the units now.
Put your hands behind your back. I will stop once you put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back.
No.
Now. I said get off. What you want to shoot me? I ain't getting nothing. Who does that feed right now? That's a right. Nigga, he hit our head to the fucking goddamn thing. To the head and to the side. Stop! Stop! You bitch! You just kicked my court! Red court, no! That's what I told you. Stop! To the side. Stop! Stop! You bitch!
Get back!
Get back!
Stop moving! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting! Stop resisting!
Please call Reese. Call Reese right now. Call my attorney. He arrested me for no reason. He had no proof. Call Reese right now. I'm not playing.
Do what? Do what?
He sure did. He sure did.
Stand up.
You hit in the face. You hit in the face with the
Stand up.
Stand up for what?
Stand up. I'm
Yeah,
helping
offer
you.
me. I'll help myself up. Please don't touch me.
Do what? Dude, what? You already kicked her in the face. He hit her face in the side. You kicked her in the face. He hit her face with the side. Back him away.
Stand up.
You did enough for calling my attorney.
Stand up.
You did enough. Why am I being arrested? Why am I being arrested? Can you tell me that? Why am I being arrested? Come get my keys. Come get my keys in my pocket.
Nobody's getting anything.
Yes, it is. My kids is in the car. She need my keys. She need my keys. My kids is in the car. You arrested me for no reason. You can't.
Get your elbows off. What the hell?
Stop!
Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car now. Good.
Stop with your name, the kids!
Put him in cuffs. No, you're done. We're not listening.
Put your hands on your back now. Turn around. Stop resisting.
Put your hands behind your back and you're going to get tased.
You are gonna get tased. I took off my shirt.
Put your hands behind your back and you're going to get tased. Put your hands.
Put everyone back.
1713 County. Taser deployed.
For no reason.
Shut up!
You left her cuffs now.
No, stay there and be quiet for a minute.
I can't believe this thing.
Well, we can't believe you didn't listen.
I need water.
You're gonna need a lot more. Shut up.
I have physical condition. You have a physical condition, yet you're being extremely confrontational. Stop. Stop. You should have stopped when I asked you the first time. It was unnecessary. You're unnecessary. All right. Can you let my legs go, please? I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Can't breathe. Sit him up. Can't breathe. That's unnecessary. Dirt. Slow down, dirt. 13, what's the fuck, dirt? That was unnecessary. Asha. Water.
We'll help you stand up.
Got some water. I need some water.
Don't worry about that.
I have a physical heart shot you with the damn taser.
Hey, here's the deal. Fire department's here to take you out, so we'll move that out real quick.
What?
All right, go ahead.
Fucked up my leg. My leg already fucked up. That's all.
Well, what do you know?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Well, what do you
Listen,
know?
listen, I have this left leg is already up.
Okay, so this right leg, then your knees, put your foot on the ground.
I need water, man.
All right, on three.
Now you gotta use all your muscle. Use it. Come on, help. I can't move.
You gotta put your foot on the ground, not underneath your ass. Bend your
All right,
knees.
you don't have to holler.
Bend your knees.
Don't grab me.
How old's the kids?
I have a 1-year-old and a 5-year-old. They won't let my sister get to it.
Were you involved in an accident?
No, he tried to hit my car, but it don't even matter now. I'm calling my attorney.
Okay,
He just assaulted me for no reason.
That's fine.
So I'm calling my attorney.
Listen, put
I'm
that
calling my father. My father is an attorney.
That's fine. Put
So
that
please,
listen,
let your body cam footage
it's
please
on
roll.
body cam. Can you listen to me for a second?
Ain't nothing
All
to
right.
listen about.
Whatever just happened out here, let's put that aside for a
There
minute.
ain't no putting that shit aside.
You
didn't want to listen
were
to me
you
when you pulled
involved
up.
in
You
an
became
accident?
aggressive.
Were
Because you
you-
wanted to be racist. You
No.
wanted to pick a side
No.
because it was a white man that called on me
No.
and I didn't do shit.
No, I don't know.
That's what you did. You came and slammed me by
No.
the door, grabbed me, then your homie kicked me in my fucking face. I'm a woman.
Okay,
Regardless of how you feel about me,
Okay.
I'm not race. I'm a woman.
let's.
I have 2 kids in my car.
Were you involved in an accident?
I'm a fucking registered nurse. All I was trying to do was get some gas, go
Were you
home.
involved in an
No,
accident?
I did not hit nobody's car. Nobody hit my car. He tried to crash
That's all I
into
want to
me.
know.
I'm going to that car to go put eyes on these kids and
Okay.
see how they're doing.
Okay.
If she has somebody that can be with the kids, is your sister here?
Yes.
Okay, can we sort that out? Because if there's 2 kids in a car with a gas pump, I'd like to
Yeah,
that. I know
yeah.
you guys got a bunch
So,
of other stuff.
I'll
I just want to make sure these guys are good.
So he was not here for any of this. He showed up after the fact.
Who is who?
That is the boyfriend of the sister, who was not in the vehicle at all. So the 2 sisters with the kids was in the car, and they pulled into the gas station. They probably didn't signal fast enough or whatever, but the car behind them started honking.
So is this a 1050?
So this is a road rage.
So she said they did not get into an accident.
Yeah, it's a road rage because the 2 sisters pulled into the gas station, and then they were wailing on the horn behind him, like whatever. Maybe they didn't signal fast enough or stop too fast. He gets to the male driver of the other vehicle, gets out, throws a glass bottle at the car. We've got damage on that vehicle and glass shattered all over it. And then the sister gets out who was driving, and the 2 male and female passenger and driver get out and start whooping on the sister. She just tried to break it up. She never swung on anybody. She threatened to mace them.
She did.
She didn't swing on anybody. She broke it up.
Okay.
She threatened to mace them when they wouldn't stop whooping on the sister. So it was 2 against 1. She didn't hit anybody.
So who's the one whooping on who?
That would have been the sister got into it. They attacked her.
So them over there got attacked.
The original caller,
Who's over there?
nobody was there. They left. So I think they're the ones that started it, and then they fled.
I need to lean on you. Because my hands was tied behind me.
Break my back.
Well, this is what I'm telling you. My leg, pull my pants leg, pull it up. It's f***ed up. Not because you need to understand this shit. So my leg is f***ed up real bad, right? So I can't just walk from this far distance. They taking sweet baby Jesus away. Let's check it out. They tased me for no reason. I did nothing wrong. I broke no laws. I don't know. Can I have a bottle of water? They didn't want to give me no water. They beat her up in front of me. They probably gonna try to kill me. Take a picture of me. Take a picture of me because they probably gonna try to kill me. They tased me, man, for no reason. Take a picture of me because they already demons, they devils, and I did nothing wrong. These men beating on her. She was bleeding. The motherfucker bastard kicked her in the face. I did nothing wrong. I promise. I ain't did shit wrong. Now how am I supposed to get in this? You got a bottle of water in your car? No. They don't even give me no water, man. So why am I being arrested for? For obstructing. Obstructing.
Because you came to our
That's arrest.
sweetie.
Yeah, don't say you just write that up. I ain't got no extension.
We're gonna write it up.
How am I obstructing when y'all tased me?
We're not going to argue here on the
Okay,
street. That's
Jay,
a report.
Jay,
You right.
Jay,
Go ahead and sit down.
please.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be all right. I love you. They fucked up. They tased me.
Watch your station.
Because my injuries. Who is your injury for me to take your shoes off? My feet. I can't walk. I got special inserts. I really still got brace on my leg.
That's fine.
I can show you my leg.
That's fine. Do a general search. Faster we move, the faster we get them out here.
Okay. Yeah. Get me out of here.
The suspect was charged.
Sir, may I have your badge number in the name of your supervisor?
All right, excuse me.
Your badge number. I'm entitled.
I need backup at pre-check lane 3. Okay? Non-compliant passenger, possibly hostile.
I'm not hostile.
You just got to. People always have questions, always got something to say, always making demands.
No.
At 7:42 a.m., inside Charlotte Douglas International Airport, a white police officer approached a black woman standing in the TSA pre-check line and told her she was in the wrong place. The woman was wearing a tailored Navy suit, carrying a leather briefcase, and holding credentials that identified her as a federal judge. Her name was Monique Johnson, 54 years old, appointed to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals by the President of the United States and confirmed by the Senate with bipartisan support. She had served on the federal bench for 9 years. The officer who stopped her, Darren Kovacs, 41, had spent 16 years with the Charlotte Airport Police Department. He had decided in the span of a single glance that she didn't belong, not in that line, not in that terminal, not anywhere near the expedited boarding lanes reserved for verified travelers. He didn't check her credentials, he didn't scan her identification, he looked at her skin color and made his judgment. What happened in the next 11 minutes was captured by 7 different security cameras positioned throughout the terminal concourse. Every word, every shove, every moment of escalation that would later be played in a federal courtroom, broadcast across national news, and viewed more than 50 million times online. What happened in those 11 minutes would trigger an FBI investigation, end multiple careers, send 3 officers to federal prison, and result in one of the largest civil rights settlements in airport police history. Officer Darren Kovacs had been with the Charlotte Airport Police Department since he was 25 years old. In that time, he had accumulated 31 formal complaints from travelers. 28 of those complaints involved black passengers. He had been accused of racial profiling, excessive force, unlawful detention, and verbal abuse more times than most officers receive complaints in an entire career. Not once had he faced a disciplinary hearing. Not once had he been suspended. Not once had any supervisor sat him down and told him his behavior was unacceptable. Instead, he had been promoted twice. Among his colleagues, Kovacs had earned a nickname. They called him the Gatekeeper. It wasn't a compliment from those who understood what it meant. He had made a habit of stationing himself near pre-check and priority boarding lanes, targeting black travelers for additional screening and questioning. He seemed to take personal satisfaction in making them prove they belonged. A black airline pilot in full uniform had been forced to produce 6 forms of identification before Kovacs would let him pass. A congressional aide traveling with a U.S. senator had been detained for 2 hours based on what Kovacs called suspicious behavior. She had been reading a book while waiting in line. Every complaint filed against him landed on the desk of Lieutenant Frank Ingram, his direct supervisor, and every complaint was dismissed. Insufficient evidence, conflicting accounts, no video available. The excuses varied, but the outcome never did. Kovacs walked away clean every single time, learning with each complaint that there would never be consequences for the way he treated people who looked like Monique Johnson. Judge Monique Johnson had spent her entire adult life in service to the law. She graduated from Harvard Law School at the top of her class, turned down offers from corporate firms paying 6 figures, and joined the U.S. Attorney's Office because she believed in justice. For 22 years, she prosecuted federal cases, organized crime, public corruption, civil rights violations. She sent dirty cops to prison. She dismantled trafficking rings. She stood in front of juries and spoke for victims who had no other voice. When the president nominated her to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, the Senate confirmed her 94-6. Republicans praised her fairness. Democrats praised her record. Legal scholars called her one of the most qualified judicial appointments in a generation. From the bench, she had issued landmark rulings on voting rights, police accountability, and equal protection under the law. Her opinions were cited in law school classrooms across the country. That morning, she was traveling to Washington, D.C. for an emergency hearing at the Supreme Court. A case involving federal sentencing guidelines required her presence, and she had booked the earliest flight out of Charlotte to make the 10 a.m. session. In her briefcase, she carried her federal judicial identification, her State Department travel clearance, and documentation granting her diplomatic courtesies at all U.S. ports of entry. She had credentials that could get her into secure facilities most Americans didn't know existed. She had chosen to travel without her usual security detail. It was a simple domestic flight, a routine trip she had made dozens of times before. She never imagined she would need protection inside an American airport. Kovacs stepped directly into Judge Johnson's path as she approached the pre-check entrance. His stance was wide, his hand resting on his belt, his expression already hostile. "Ma'am, this line is for verified travelers only," he said, loud enough for others to hear. "Regular screening is over there." Judge Johnson stopped. She had dealt with men like this before in courtrooms, in depositions, in federal facilities where defendants thought intimidation would work on her. It never did. She reached into her briefcase calmly and produced her credentials. "I'm a federal judge," she said, holding out her judicial identification and pre-check documentation. "These are my credentials." Kovacs barely glanced at them. He didn't take the ID. He didn't scan the barcode. He didn't examine the holographic seal or the photograph that clearly matched the woman standing before him. He looked at her face, then back at the credentials, and shook his head. "These are probably fake," he said. "You're going to need additional screening." Behind her, white travelers passed through the line without a second glance. A businessman in a rumpled suit. A woman with 2 children pulling roller bags. An elderly couple moving slowly toward the scanners. None of them were stopped. None of them were questioned. Kovacs' partner, Officer Neil Stanton, 29, stood a few feet away watching the interaction. He said nothing, did nothing. The security cameras recorded everything, including the fact that Kovacs never once scanned or verified her credentials before deciding she didn't belong. Kovacs pointed toward a roped-off area beside the security checkpoint. "Step out of line," he said. "Now." Judge Johnson complied. She stepped to the side without argument, without raising her voice, without giving him any reason to escalate. But before moving further, she asked a simple question. "May I have your badge number and the name of your supervisor?" Kovacs' expression darkened. He reached for his radio. "I need backup at pre-check lane 3. I've got a non-compliant passenger." Judge Johnson's voice remained steady. "I'm not being non-compliant. I'm asking for your identification, as is my right." Kovacs ignored her. He stepped closer, crowding her space, and pointed at the wall beside the screening area. "Hands on the wall. You're getting a pat-down." "On what grounds?" she asked. That was when he grabbed her. His hand closed around her upper arm with force that would leave bruises visible for weeks. He yanked her toward the wall and shoved her forward. Her briefcase slipped from her grip and hit the floor, clasps popping open, legal documents scattering across the tile. Travelers nearby gasped. Several pulled out phones and began recording. Kovacs leaned in close, his voice loud enough for the cameras to capture every word. "You people always think you're above the law." Judge Johnson turned her head slightly, her cheek pressed near the wall, her voice calm despite the grip on her arm. "Officer, I am the law. I'm a federal judge on the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals." Kovacs laughed. The sound was cruel, dismissive, dripping with contempt. "Sure you are," he said. "And I'm the Pope." Kovacs pulled his handcuffs from his belt. "You're being detained for disorderly conduct." Judge Johnson kept her hands visible, her posture compliant. "What specific conduct?" "I've followed every instruction. I haven't raised my voice. I haven't resisted." Kovacs didn't answer with words. He grabbed her right wrist and wrenched it behind her back with a violent twist. The motion was fast, brutal, and completely unnecessary. Judge Johnson cried out as her shoulder joint separated partially from its socket. The pain shot through her arm and into her chest. Before she could speak, Kovacs slammed her forward onto the metal screening table. Her face struck the surface hard. Her glasses shattered on impact, a shard slicing into her cheek just below her left eye. Blood began running down her face immediately, bright red against the stainless steel surface, visible on every camera recording the scene. Kovacs forced her down and planted his knee into her upper back, pressing his full weight onto a 54-year-old woman with a dislocated shoulder.